Good morning, Adelaide. Andrew Stacey here from the City of Adelaide Lions Club. It's Sunday morning, and we've got a nice little crew with us this morning. Give us a wave, guys. Nice crew with us this morning, going for our walk this morning next to the Torrens Weir. We've got special guests from the Australian Lions hearing dog. We've got David and Melissa, and they've brought their own personal dog, Loki, with them today. Watch out for people walking behind, but a nice big crew with us today. So get involved. If you've got any questions for David or Melissa, please ask away in the comment section, and hopefully we'll get some questions from the guys who are here as well. But we're going to do the long loop today. Last week, if you followed me by myself, I ended up measuring how far that actual walk was, and it's 3.8 k's. So it's a nice walk that takes about 35 to 40 minutes.
How do you measure it that day?
I measure it with another app that did it by GPS. So I hope you're well wherever you are in Adelaide or South Australia or even the rest of Australia. I'm sure Uncle Billy will be online tonight from England, so I hope you're well. Good evening if you're from there. Coda, how are you, mate? We've got Loki and David here on camera, so we'll chat to them in a moment. We've got Marilyn and Matt from the Lions Club, and I've got a couple of other workmates as well who've brought a partner along too, and kids. So it's a nice little group with us this morning. So I hope you're well wherever you are. Hope you're getting your exercise in while you're watching us. And we'll chat to David and Melissa, and even if Loki gets a word in or two, we'll have a chat with them too as we go. So if you've got any questions, g'day Ian. If you've got any questions, please send them through on the comments, and David and Melissa will be more than happy to answer those questions. So before we talk to these lovely people, just a quick update on what we're doing with this walk over the next couple of weeks. I posted it on Facebook yesterday, but just in case you didn't see it, we are doing something different next week. G'day, buddy. So next week, I've got Matt leading us, because it's been a while since I've been out to where we're going to go. Next Sunday, still 9 o'clock, we're taking the walk out to Morialta Hills. It's been years and years since I've been out there, so I don't actually know where I'm going to go with that. Barb, how you doing, my dear? So Matt's going to be leading us as to where we're walking, and that way I'll talk on the camera. So we're heading out to Morialta for somewhere different next week. And then the following week, we have another guest speaker from the Australian Lions hearing dogs. And that time it'll be Laura, and she's going to be talking about a different program that they're initiating at the hearing dogs, where they're training the dogs to do something different. So I spoke about it really, really briefly, I think last week. David may mention it very, very briefly today, but otherwise we'll keep all that info for when Laura's here in 2 weeks' time. So that's where the program's going for the next 2 weeks. That'll take us through to November, or about November, and then we'll see if we change the venue again to somewhere else. So again, as I mentioned last week, if you've got any suggestions as to where you'd like to walk with me, obviously I'm all ears as to what those suggestions may be. If you don't have any ideas, that's fine. I'll figure out where we're going to go, and I'll obviously let everyone know over the next couple of weeks. So any suggestions are more than welcome. We've had suggestions going to the beach, or even doing Mount Lofty. That's definitely would not be a regular one, heading out Mount Lofty way. But we can always check out what other sites there are around Adelaide and walk on those sites. So hopefully clubs out there are getting right back into your activities, and hopefully doing lots of face-to-face meetings. The City of Adelaide Lions Club, we have a face-to-face meeting tomorrow night, our dinner meeting tomorrow night out at the Ridges, so it'll be great to be back there after having a couple of months away. And Patria's got something pretty special. Morning, Val, or good evening, Val. Patria's got something pretty special organised for our dinner meeting tomorrow night. We do not have a guest speaker. She's got something else completely and utterly planned. So, Lil, how are you, mate? Out of Port Pirie. So it's going to be a really good night. So we'll appreciate the effort that Patria's going to put into organising tomorrow night. So, yeah, so we're back tomorrow night doing that as well. So, and then hopefully, and then we've got a couple of barbecues organised in the next couple of months. So the dates are going to leave my mind for a minute. Susan, how are you? Let me know where you're from, Susan. But thank you for joining us. That's marvellous. So we are donating our time and doing a barbecue for the MNZ Walk to Defeat MNZ. Val, whose partner Val is, I haven't seen Uncle Billy yet. So we're doing a barbecue for MNZ in October, and then there's a couple more. Then I think we're looking to be booked in for another barbecue in November as well. Good to hear you, Daniel. So today, Lil, we've got Joe and Johnny here with us today, mate. How good is that? Anyway, let's bring on the marvellous guest speakers that we've got. Our guests, we've got David Horne and Melissa from the Australian Lions Hearing Dogs. And so they're going to tell us all about the program now. We've known David for a couple of years now. While I know plenty about the program because I've heard him speak before, if you've got any questions out there, please send them through on the comments there and I'll pass them through to David or Melissa. And we'll start from the basics and then see what else we get out of David along the way. So we've got about 40 minutes to chat. If we go for the whole 40 minutes, that's fine. If we stop a bit short, that doesn't matter either, does it, guys? So thank you for coming along, guys. Much appreciated.
No problem. Thank you.
That's all right. It's great that you've brought Loki along as well.
Yeah, it's nice to actually take our own dog out for one, not a hearing dog. So
exactly.
He
So
gets to enjoy the day. Sunday's family day. So
that's beautiful.
So
Finally getting some attention.
That's it.
So down here at the Torrens, heaps of people walking. Lots of people walking, cycling. We're going to have lots of people beeping us as they ride past. And I'm just looking over here. I know I'm interrupting what I'm about to say to David, but there's quite a few people rolling along the Torrens here as well. So lots of activity out on the Torrens. So if you're getting your exercise in somewhere in Adelaide, please do. It's a beautiful day. So Val, I don't mean to rub it in, but we are baking in the sun at the moment. It's beautiful. Lovely, low 20 degrees. So David, for Hearing Lions Dogs, so for anyone who doesn't know, this club's been established for a while. So even though they're a hearing dog training program,
Yep.
you're actually now an official Lions club.
We've actually got our own club. So
Yeah,
it's a specialty club we chartered last year.
Yep.
I've just stepped down as charter president, which is nice. So
Beautiful.
pass that off on to somebody else. But our specialty isn't so much as raising funds for the dogs.
Yeah.
It's raising funds for our clients who are in need. So a lot of our clients are on fixed incomes and struggle because dogs can be expensive.
Yep.
And though we want to fund it as an organisation and to be able to help all the time, we just can't.
Yeah.
We need to get more dogs out.
Yeah.
So our staff, the majority of our staff and other volunteers around Australia, we're members of the club.
Yeah.
And that's what we raise funds for.
Beautiful. So obviously starting with the basics, for those who don't know what this program is all about, what's the hearing programs, what's the purpose of it?
Okay, so the main focus of our program is to train and place hearing dogs across Australia.
Yep.
So hearing dogs work mainly in the home. They're like a guide dog but for deaf people, and they're trained to alert to about 10 different common household sounds.
Yeah.
Things like doorbells, door knocks, baby cries, smoke alarms.
Yep.
They are your ears.
Mm.
And the way they do this is they physically touch you.
Yep.
And they'll take you to
Yeah.
the source of the sound, or in the case of a smoke alarm, they'll touch and drop.
Yep.
So they can do this pretty much anywhere. So if you're out in the shops as well, your mobile phone, an emergency alarm, they'll actually let you know that that's going on as well.
Which is amazing, really. I mean, if we make a comparison for those out there, so I mean, clearly different from guide dogs for seeing.
Yep.
These hearing dogs are literally the ears for their owners, and so the program is all about getting these dogs out to different people free of charge.
Yes, as a gift from the Lions Clubs of Australia.
Yeah.
And the centre up here in the Adelaide Hills is the only one in Australia as well. So we deliver Australia-wide. And just this year, even with COVID, we've managed to get dogs into the Daintree rainforest.
Oh, sweet.
Over into Western, well, I haven't got up there too.
No.
Too bloody humid for me. But over into Western Australia, we're just starting to get dogs into New South Wales again.
Yeah, right.
This year we're hoping to place about 30 dogs,
Yep.
which will be a record for us.
Absolutely.
So, you know, if we didn't have COVID, we probably could have done a lot more. But yeah.
So how many dogs would you have placed in the time that you've been running this?
Over our years, so it's our 40th anniversary this year.
Yeah, cool.
And last year we placed our 600th dog.
Wow.
So at the moment, I think Next week we get rid of 622, 623.
Wow. So over the years, in 40 years, the trainers have trained that many dogs out to, and like I said, they've been donated and given to various people across Australia. So while the program is it's actually based out of Verdun. The club is part of the C2 district. The City of Adelaide is part of C1. Even though apparently it was started by a C1, apparently by a City of Adelaide member, but hey, we don't talk about that.
We don't talk about that.
I actually don't know many details apart from that. But yeah, so they're based out of Verdun, and like David's saying, they'll train the dogs to listen for those sounds and alert their owners. And like I said, the dogs are literally donated out to those owners for as long as they need it, really, and then they're supported by the club as well.
So it's supported by a local club in the area. So,
Pat, how are you?
We're very unique in the assistance dog world, where even though there are other Lions assistance dog organisations, so there's one in Canada, for example, we're the only ones who use Lions on the ground. Placement. So it's a great service activity that clubs can, have a hands-on effect in the placement of every dog.
Yeah.
And these are huge costs to us too. They're $37,000 each dog, and of course, like we said, they go out free of charge.
Yeah. So how much again? 35,000.
$37,000
it costs to train a dog. So where do you get the funds from?
Well, about a third come from Lions clubs.
Yep.
They donate it. The rest comes from the public.
Cool.
That's it. So public donations, legacy gifts as well.
Yep.
We don't get any government funding.
No.
So it is the Australian public who support us.
Is that something that you actually would like if you could, or is that just something that's not chased for because it's too hard, or?
No, of course we'd always like more funding because that means we get more dogs.
Yeah.
And we're very focused like that, but yeah, it can take a lot of work. We do have some fundraisers on staff.
Yep.
Who are looking at different options, but.
But no, so the City of Adelaide, we've sponsored a dog last year, I think it was. So the Cubs Club that, if you've been following me for a while, will be more than familiar with. Indiana spoke about the club only a couple of weeks ago. We sponsored a club on their behalf last year. That dog's name was Spud.
Yep.
And Spud's gone out to their owner.
Yes.
Hasn't he? So
Spud's actually Spud's sponsored by my club. So Spud's actually gone to Mount Barker.
Yeah, right.
And we had 2 dogs go to Mount Barker because of COVID.
Yeah.
We're supporting South Australians, and then as states open up, we can get dogs out there.
Yeah.
But it's my club, and I'm actually part of the supporting team going around and doing stands. And it's actually a real privilege because I was a trainer before I was the CEO.
Yep.
And you go out and you deliver the dogs, and you're not part of that day-to-day support.
Yeah.
And so it's a real privilege to watch how the partnership grows over what's been about 9 weeks now.
Yep.
So he's done really well.
Oh, beautiful. So the City of Adelaide, we've also, we're looking at sponsoring another dog. We've put the money through. Pat, I'll get to what you're saying in a sec. We've sponsored another dog. We're just waiting on the dog to arrive and actually be part of the program. We had a dog, but there were some complications that meant the dog couldn't be part of it, which is all cool. That's part of the process. So Lions clubs donate and support, and they can get dogs and they can sponsor a dog to be part of the program. So I'm just going to zoom in and have a look at what Pat's written. Mornings, Pat. On my other hat, V5 have a new club branch, Melbourne Deaf and Hard of Hearing. 7 members inducted last week. Oh, marvellous! So a new branch club opened up in V5. Brilliant. Awesome.
I think I'm guest speaker there in a couple of weeks.
Ah, cool.
Via Zoom.
Sweet. So how much travelling do you do in your role?
As much as I can.
Yeah.
Mel will tell you that she doesn't actually like me home, so I try
You're
to
a
be
pain in the butt.
try to be away as much as possible, which hasn't happened a lot this year, but
No.
I try to be as hands-on as I can. I still go out and I mentor trainers and I go on placements with them as well while they're learning. Obviously we want a presence with Lions clubs as well, so I'll go out and do that, and as many assessments as I can sort of do as well. But I can say, back on your dog that you're sponsoring, I did hear from the breeder this week, and I can tell you first that it's not that far away.
Oh, cool.
So.
Sweet. Awesome stuff. So yeah, so for any Lions members that are watching this video or watch it later today or later in the week, obviously every club is welcome to sponsoring a dog if you've got the money. It's an awesome program. They keep you involved with the training of the dog and how the dog is progressing, how it grows up, all that sort of stuff is really interactive, and that's what our Cubs have loved about sponsoring Spud. And so we'll get David to speak about that some more. So what's the process, I guess, of either Lions Clubs being involved, or at least obviously how the dogs get trained?
Yeah, okay, so for the club to be involved with an actual placement, we wait for an application, and if it's here in South Australia, we'll do the interview.
Yeah.
But if it's interstate, the cost is too great, so we'll actually get a local Lions Club to do the interview on our behalf. Okay. Once that happens, if they're approved, we'll ask if the club wants to be involved, and there is a sponsorship fee involved with that. That's just to keep us going as well and to pay for the placement.
Yeah.
But yeah, once the dog gets delivered, then clubs are trained, and then 3 times a week they go around, they visit, 15 minutes, half an hour each visit.
Yep.
Run the dog through its paces, and then that gets reported back to us.
Yeah. So how long do the dogs get trained for before they're placed?
6 to 8 months.
6 to 8 months.
Yeah. It depends on the dog. So dogs who are going through the puppy program that we've got, they're getting through a lot quicker.
Yep.
Traditionally, we've only used dogs from the pounds.
Okay.
And, they can come with their own set of issues.
Yeah.
So that's normally taken a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And that's the main thing about hearing dogs too. There is no one breed.
Yeah, which I find amazing. I know we've spoken about this, you've told us this before, but yeah, there's no specific breed at all.
No.
Which I guess is compared to you're seeing eye dogs for guide dogs, isn't it?
That's it. You've pretty much got a Labrador or it's it.
Yeah.
But with us, we can go anywhere from Chihuahua up to Labrador.
Yeah.
We avoid dogs with long backs.
Oh.
Unless you're our program director loves dash hounds, and the dogs seem to get longer and longer and longer as we go. But that's because they jump up, and that puts pressure on their back.
Oh, okay.
We're trying to extend their lifetime.
Yep.
And dogs with a negative public image. So these dogs go into shops.
Yep.
So we don't want Staffies, Rotties, German Shepherds.
Yeah.
Great dogs.
Absolutely they are.
But if you're standing at the deli section in Coles or something like that, you've got a great big Rottie sitting next, drooling.
Yep.
It's not a good look, especially when you've got our logo and the Lions.
I was going to say, but they've got such a cute coat on them.
They look great. It's amazing. So no, they look better now that they've got tails. They're normally wagging.
Yeah.
But we can use anything, and there are no 2 hearing dogs that look alike.
No, which like I said, I think it's great in one sense. It's awesome. Like, it's amazing that you've got that breadth of variety of dogs to choose from.
Yeah.
Obviously, the limitations out there the same way, and yeah.
And it's difficult. Pounds. Even though there are lots of dogs in pounds, not everyone is suitable to be a hearing dog.
Yeah.
So it does make it difficult, and that's why, as we've delivered more dogs, we've had to go for a puppy program.
Yeah.
And oh, buddy. Whoop. So continue talking.
Well, we can do. A quick pause in proceedings as dogs do what they do. Plenty of people walking and running here at Torrens, so I hope you're getting your exercise in somewhere. If you've got any questions, please send them through to David here. He'll be happy to chat to, happy to talk. But Pat Mills says hello to you.
Hi, Pat.
All right, we've got David Horne here. We've got Loki. I'll get Loki on video there, just down by his legs. Beautiful Siberian Husky. Pardon? No. Oh, yeah, he is, but he just hasn't said hello.
Hi, Billy.
There's Addison saying hello to my uncle over in England. Usually views in.
There's that lovely soft fur on that one.
And so back to what we were saying, the next question I was going to have was they go through the training program that's about 6 to 8 months. Mm-hmm. That's obviously with you guys specifically. Yes. Does the Lions Club themselves have any involvement with that part of it from the sponsoring point of view or anything like that?
No, not at that point. And the reason is
morning, Steph.
We're always trying to work out where the dog's going.
Yeah.
So we've got a 2-year wait. We've got over 70 people on our wait list
Wow.
at the moment. It's why I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. But it's we're always changing where the dogs are going, and then we may have a priority case come up as well.
Okay.
So if you've had a dog before,
Yep.
your dog passes away, you get priority.
Ah, cool.
So that's always there to be thought of too. So it changes around. A dog might not suit somebody,
Yep.
and we may only find that at the end. So it's really hard to get clubs involved. Of course, if clubs want to come up to the centre if they're local, we're always happy for them to be there, and we're always happy to talk to any club as well.
Yeah, so we've been lucky enough, Addison's distracted by ducks now. So we've, our City of Adelaide Lions Club, along with the Cubs, we got a tour of the facilities out at Verdun. The kids loved it, heaps of the kids came along with their parents, and I said, as David just mentioned, they're more than welcome, more than happy to have any clubs go along and visit and be a part of it all and see what it's all about if they then want to choose to sponsor a dog and go through that process. Patria, how are you, my dear? Patria has asked, what training and qualifications do your staff have?
We actually have a cadetship program.
Cool.
So hearing dog training is actually quite unique. So we were started by a couple of Lions who brought out a trainer from America 4 years ago. And so the training's kept on going from that. Now, through our cadetship program, there is an official qualification.
Yeah,
we
right.
have we had the trainers put through a Cert 3 in dog training and behaviour, but the majority of it is mentorship.
Yep.
We have a core of trainers there, me included, who you've probably got about 100 years of hearing dog training experience. So a lot of it's on the job, working with the more experienced trainers, and yeah, we've had great success.
Awesome. So that training, like, if they're doing a Cert 3, is that recognised through TAFE or who is that?
Through the National Dog Training Federation.
Oh, cool.
The other thing we have all of our trainers do is some lessons in Auslan, Australian Sign
sweet.
Language. So all of our trainers can sign, and in fact our assistant trainer Linda, who's been there 25 years,
Yeah.
she's profoundly deaf.
Oh, there you go.
So Auslan is her first form of communication.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's taught everybody. this lady is
She's thinking,
profoundly
oh, here
deaf.
comes another one I've got to do.
Yeah. So
Yeah, right.
she's actually taught everybody how to sound train, including me.
Sweet. Cool. Addison called us up. We've got David's wife Melissa training behind. The rest of our crew. The rest of our crew are joining us. They're just getting there slowly. What's Patria asking this time? Can you sign something for us? What do you mean?
Hello. How are you?
Say that one again.
How are you?
As simple as that. How much of this conversation could you do in sign language?
I'm very, very out of practice. I don't do it a lot. And Linda's had time off, so she's normally where you practice.
Yeah.
But we're quite good at finger spelling, and
Yeah.
we do actually have one of our trainers, or past trainers, is working to be an interpreter.
Oh,
So
okay.
I think she's at her 3rd year at TAFE.
Yeah, sweet. Which is obviously helpful for the process when you're passing the dogs on to those who are either deaf or hard of hearing.
That's it, and especially through COVID, we can actually Zoom in with a lot of our clients and still communicate that way too. And sometimes if you can watch what's happening with the dog, because we're all across Australia, you can pick up problems really quickly.
Yeah.
So it's helpful in that way.
Has there been any sort of change or extra challenges with the whole COVID, and not necessarily with the program, but in terms of like your relationship with the clients and whatnot?
I think it's actually probably gotten better.
Yeah, right.
Because we've had to, places move slowly. So we've had to, with technology, use it a lot more, and will be a better organisation because of that.
Yeah, right.
We do accreditations and training sessions over Zoom, which we never used to do. And so I think we have a better quality of dog after that than we did.
Sweet. Gets a greater reach as well because everything's online and everything else, isn't it? So, everyone all right? Yeah, right. Kaji fitness machine. Jeez. Johnny's coming along. All right, we'll keep on moving. We're at the Adelaide Uni Bridge, so we'll make our way across the bridge. All right, Patria's got another question for us, which I'll read in a sec. Just making sure everyone's all right. We're looking good, feeling good.
Hi, Mummy. Hi, Uncle Billy.
All right, so Patria's asked, what plans does ALHD have for the future?
Well, big plans.
Yeah, big plans.
Big plans. So, because we've got that 2-year wait, that is way too long for us.
Yeah.
And we're pretty
Can
much
you just
at
walk a
the,
little bit faster, babe?
pretty much at the limit of what we can do at the moment. So, and that's only because of our capacity. So, we're actually in the middle of redeveloping our site,
Which looks huge,
is
by the way.
So at the moment we've got an 18 kennel capacity for dogs.
Yeah.
And the expansion will see us treble that to 60.
Oh,
So it actually gives us the capacity to place over 100 assistance dogs per year.
yeah.
Which also gives us the opportunity to move into different programs as well.
Beautiful. And like I said, one of those new programs is what Laura's going to come along for in a couple of weeks' time.
That's it. So Laura's actually our second vice president, and she's a hearing dog trainer.
Yep.
And she got the job to be the project coordinator for the medical alert dog program.
Yes.
So for those who know dog trainers, she's actually spending a week with Steve Austin this week.
Okay.
Coming up. So she's going to be doing a lot of work with him.
Yeah,
And,
we'll go down those stairs, yeah.
Yeah, so some great work. So he does a lot of scenting work, which it's we're using sound with our training now.
Yep.
But that will be more scent based because you're going off of the breath of a diabetic.
Yeah.
Once we get that down pat, we'll move into other medical illnesses as well.
So for those who are watching me for the first time or for the first time in a while, or you didn't see what I spoke about a couple of weeks ago, like I said, we won't talk heaps about it because we'll get Laura to go into the details, but this new program for the medical alert dogs,
Yes.
that's what the program is. What's relevant to this program through the City of Adelaide is a diabetes awareness and wellbeing awareness program. That's why we go on these walks, and so the point of having Laura along to talk about their medical alert dogs is, Uncle Billy, how are you, buddy?
Hi, Uncle Billy.
Is that these dogs will be trained to be able to pick up the scent for those people who are diabetic as to whether their blood sugar levels have increased or decreased.
Yes,
Yeah.
So we'll be working on type 1 diabetes first.
Yep.
So lows, and then as we get better at that, we'll then work on different types because it can be both low and high.
Yeah.
Have an issue there. But yeah, we'll be the only program in Australia which gives them away for free.
Yep.
So there are other programs in Australia who train diabetic alert dogs.
Yeah.
But they will either charge you or make you fundraise for them.
Yep.
So we're a Lions program. That's what we do.
Absolutely. So how amazing is that? So again, just like the hearing dog for those who are deaf or hard of hearing, people who are diabetic, and it's going to be rolled out for other illnesses as well.
And we'll look at what else we.
Yeah. So they'll be rolled out. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No.
There you go.
No, I was going to say the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
for us.
Absolutely.
So, we're in the business of helping people, and if we can help as many people as we can, that's what we want to do.
Absolutely. So how amazing is that you're going to be able to train, that dogs can be trained to do that? I had no idea of that until David spoke at our club a few months ago, which is, it's good camera work right there. And so how amazing is that the dogs can be trained to pick up on those scents of those people with different illnesses. So it's going to be interesting to see how the program progresses from there. And like I said, we'll get a lot more detail from Laura next week, so 2 weeks time. So make sure you tune in for that if you're not actually physically here with us. So can't wait to hear more about that and how that actually happens. Let's head back to these marvellous poochers. These dogs that get trained, so when you guys have them for 6 to 8 weeks, months,
Yep.
Is it then after that you've got someone else looking after the dog before it gets placed? Is that we had?
No. So you had Spud.
Yeah.
He was in our puppy program. So we had him from 8 weeks. City of Adelaide and the Cubs Club sponsored him.
Walk a little bit faster, babe. Just a little bit faster.
They stay out in the homes from 8 weeks until about 10 months.
That's staying with a home of just a regular person.
Just a regular person.
That's happy to look after the dog.
Yep.
In that time.
They do a little bit of training, but the main thing is we want it to be a normal dog.
Yeah.
We don't want it to stay away from things. It's not like a guide dog puppy, doesn't go into shops.
Yep.
But we want it to be socialised, and we get a history
Yeah.
of the dog as well. So quite often when you get a dog from the pounds, normally your first 1 or 2 months is ticking off all those boxes.
Yeah.
But you don't know. It comes as a mystery.
Yeah.
So Spud went out, did 8 months in the home.
Yep.
And came in, and he just flew through his training. So and that's the bonus of it. Eventually we'll look at getting a breeding program as well.
Oh, cool.
So hopefully
You have the space.
Yeah. So we've got a more consistent amount of puppies coming through.
Yeah.
And that's probably one of the biggest impacts of COVID as well.
Yeah.
Other than fundraising is because people are home, they have time for dogs.
Yeah.
And so the price of dogs
Way behind.
has gone up hugely, and I'm sure people have heard about $15,000 for puppies, and we just can't afford that.
No
So
way.
we wouldn't pay for it. So
Normal people should be able to afford that. All right, so we're just going to slow up here because we've got, it looks like one of the schools is there. One of the rowing clubs are just getting their boats back into the their what are they called?
sheds.
Back into their shed. That's the word. Oh goodness, what a wordsmith I am, Uncle Billy. Maybe you will be, mate. Oh, we've mentioned Uncle Billy so many times. He's making a joke about he'll be more famous than that jelly. So, all right, Patria's back on. How can people get involved to support Hearing Dogs besides making donations?
Okay, well, there's always, if you're here locally, you can always talk to us and maybe come up and do some volunteering. We do have a volunteer program which is open to non-lions as well. So if you do have the time, our volunteer program is dog focused. So it's all about working on the mental and physical enrichment of the dogs. So we've got a couple of enrichment yards set up. So you get to come in, and because we've got so many dogs and so many placements, we're normally 1 or 2 trainers down.
Yeah.
So you actually get to be part of that, get to know the dogs, get to know the trainers. As we go forward too, we do have a lot of other things you can do around the centre too. So if you're retired, you've got a little bit of time, you want to do some admin work, we're always happy to talk to you. Have you come in.
And I guess, I think you mentioned it there, but I guess we know that Spud was looked after by a Lions member as well. That's where they were going through that day-to-day socialising and day-to-day just taking the dog around. So
yeah. And the bonus of this is, and we'll have a lot more puppies come through as well, is that if you don't want that full commitment of having a dog,
got a few dogs around us at the moment, so Luke is checking out the scenery.
if you don't want to take on that full-time life commitment of a dog, and just have one and have it, so you can still travel, because we'll always take the dogs back.
Okay.
We provide all the food and all that.
Yeah, right.
It's an important service, and we've got people who are on to their 5th and 6th puppies.
Wow.
And just keep rotating them through.
Yeah.
And it's a valuable service that we need.
Yeah.
And so if you can give up that time, you feel you can contribute, we'd always love to hear from you.
Yeah, cool. So that definitely goes out to all the different, all the Lions members out there, and I guess that's an Australia-wide search for those sort of people as well.
No, just South
It's only
Australia
here?
at the moment.
Yep.
We have a puppy coordinator
Yeah,
who comes
behind
out
us.
and supports you. You're not on your own then too.
Yeah.
So we try to catch up with you every 2 weeks.
Yep.
It's not a lot of work.
Yeah.
But just so we know how the dog's going to, catching up, and just seeing how it's going.
Yeah, cool. We've gone into a bit of darkness here with the light, but Dave will come back. It is not a silly question, Uncle Billy. Do you have dogs that fail your requirements?
We do.
Absolutely,
It
yeah.
doesn't happen very often. We've actually got a really good success rate. So our success rate sits at about 90%.
Yeah, cool.
But every now and then there is a dog that fails.
Yeah.
It's normally because we don't want to put the pressure on them. So these dogs go into places where dogs don't normally go.
Yeah.
So we don't want them to struggle. So we'll try and get rid of them as early as possible.
Yeah.
And they go out as lovable dropouts. So they're great dogs.
You can.
There's normally one little issue that we see, but there's nothing that will stop it from being a great pet.
Yeah. No, so not a silly question at all, Uncle Billy. That was going to lead me to another question, but now I've actually forgotten it, so that's all right. Patria's back on. What's the process to ensure that the dogs are performing their duties off effectively after they've been placed?
Yeah, so we're part of Assistance Dogs International, so that's a huge accreditation that we've got, and as part of that, we have to check our dogs every 3 years.
Okay.
So we have to see them in person. We go above and beyond that.
Yep.
We check them every 18 months.
Oh, wow.
So we go into the home, we do a sound assessment to ensure that they're still working.
Yep.
And then we do a public access test as well to make sure that the dogs aren't being a nuisance about.
Yeah.
We've got the highest standard of dog. We also get annual vet reports back, so we can see how the dog's going.
Yeah.
And that's part of the commitment of having a hearing dog too.
Sure. Do you allocate a particular service, like veterinary service, to do that, or can the owners just take them wherever?
They use their own vets.
Okay.
So we'll send out the form for them to fill in.
Yeah.
So what we want them to check. So especially things like weight and that.
Yeah.
Because a fat hearing dog doesn't work. So we can check all that, and we get a standard then coming back that we can see over.
Okay. Yeah. Can a dog that it's similar, I guess, to my Uncle Billy asking a question. Once a dog's been placed and stuff,
Yeah.
what would not fail a dog to come out of the program, but the dogs come out of the program for various reasons, I guess.
Yeah, some of them can return.
Yeah.
Generally, it's very early on. Generally, it's because it is a commitment.
Yeah.
It's not an electronic aid. This is a living, breathing creature
Yeah.
that you do have to look after, and
Yeah.
there is work in it. It doesn't matter how well we train the dogs. You don't just get it and leave it.
Yeah.
You have to still work at it.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here for. But some people don't like that commitment.
Yeah.
So it'll come back, but we just place it again. It may be the wrong time in their lives.
Yeah.
It is a big step, but what you get out of it is so much more.
Yeah.
It's something that is that companion. It gives you awareness. It's your mate.
Yeah.
And,
Absolutely.
All dog lovers will understand that.
Yeah. Yeah. And so the dogs that are trained and when they get placed on those, are they similar to, is it guide dogs where you're not supposed to touch the dogs, like the public or anyone around, but they can, like these can be, or what's the deal with that?
Yeah, it's probably a lot more important with guide dogs because when they're out and about, they're really focused on their work.
Yeah.
So as hearing dogs, we keep that consistent, and so when the jacket's on, no touching.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, we do encourage people to come up and talk to our clients about it because that's part of that getting people back into the community.
Yeah.
Because deafness is very isolating.
Yeah.
And it's invisible.
Mm.
You
Yeah,
don't
you
see
wouldn't
it.
know
So
it. Yeah.
you see a hearing dog in an orange jacket, you go, that person's deaf or hard of hearing. I know that I'm going to look them directly in the face.
Yep.
I'm going to try and communicate with them. I'm not going to get frustrated
Yeah.
and not understand why they're not getting it. So yeah, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, fair enough. Just see what Patria's written here. How do you match dogs with their owners?
By height. No, it's all about, as part of the application process, we look at your lifestyle and what your needs are. So if you're allergic to dog hair, we try to get you a hypoallergenic dog. So that's why we've got a lot of Labradoodles coming through. But no, that's why we can't tell you so early what dog you're going to get.
Yeah.
Because we're looking at the dog and then matching that up against
Sure.
that. And we've actually got a pretty good strike rate with it too.
Yeah, right. I guess that's, yeah. And so you said that you've got a waiting list at the moment of 200.
Oh, well, no,
100?
2 years.
Oh, 2 years, 2 years.
It's over 2 years now. COVID's brought a massive applications in. Every time I go to the post office, I start to get a flood. Yeah.
Oh, honey, can you talk about this? Just do that?
So this has just grown hugely over the last couple of years as we've done a great job, we think, of getting out there and showing the public what we can do.
Yeah.
Becoming more visible. But that's the trade-off that we get as well.
Yeah.
So, but it has allowed us to grow, and we wouldn't have the expansion if we didn't have that waitlist.
Yeah. Because that was going to be my next question: is how do people know that you're around so that people can apply or get on that waiting list?
And it is difficult because as a Lions program and as a Lion, I don't want to see the money that I donate go into advertising or anything like that.
Yeah.
So it's really hard. So we try to be as visible as possible. We try to go to as many Lions events as possible.
Yeah.
And really showcase what we can do. Word of mouth is a big thing too.
Yep.
And if there is a cost-effective way of advertising, we'll try it.
Yeah.
As well. So, but I guess for the people watching today, if there is one thing I could ask, it is that you go out there and you say what a hearing dog is. You see one in the street, and someone asks a question, explain it.
Yeah.
So you're our advertising.
I'll see what Billy's got. Do potential clients meet their dot early? What I think is a typo there, Uncle Billy. Do potential clients meet their Scotty Candida? How are you, buddy? Uncle Billy, can you just retype that question there? Because I reckon that you've accidentally got a typo there, mate.
Mom, look. A dad.
What, honey?
Look over there with all the...
Yeah, all those people. There must be an event over there at Pinky Flat, over the other side of the river that we've already walked past. Scotty, hope you're well, mate. Hope you've recovered after the big day shift yesterday. All right, are they supposed to be dogs? That makes sense. So do potential clients meet their dog early?
Once they've done their final assessment and training, then yes.
Okay.
It's like working with kids. Working with dogs, you're never sure what's going to come up. And
Yeah.
in my experience, it has been, I've had a dog that I trained, and right before it was meant to be placed, a medical issue came up.
Okay.
So, and it had to fail. So,
Yeah.
We're pretty strict on that. Every now and then, I'm too soft. And I'll probably give in because I want to be a nice guy.
Yeah.
But generally, what we do is we do an assessment 6 weeks out from placement.
Okay.
If the dog passes that, then we start introductions. Now,
Yeah.
if you're here in South Australia, it's in person.
Yep.
If you're interstate though, unfortunately we can't do it. It's via pictures and a letter.
Okay. Yeah. Which I think is a marvellous thing. I'm just going to have a look at Scotty. Good, mate. Like I said, I think it's just brilliant that the program, while it's based here in SA, is the service that's been provided right across Australia.
Yeah.
So I just think that's, again, just brilliant about how the program runs and how successful it's been and everything else.
Yeah. And it's one of the few ones. We're one of only 3 national assistance dog programs.
Yeah, right.
So there's Seeing Eye Dogs Australia, Assistance Dogs Australia, and Lions Hearing Dogs.
Yeah.
Other ones, like guide dogs, have different state
Okay,
ones, so
yeah.
they only cover a small area.
Okay.
But no, we support all across Australia, and it is right here from Adelaide.
Beautiful. So let's say, so for those of you watching, so I really appreciate that you're checking it out. Let's say if there's any way that you want to support this program, this marvellous program, either give David a phone call, re-watch this video and see what you've missed. Lots of ways of getting involved in supporting it. I say even if it's just simply a case if you know about the program and someone talks to you about needing the need, then it's right there. So I said they're expanding, as David started to allude to earlier. They're creating a new facility. Well, it's not just a renovation, is it? Like it's
No,
almost
it's
like a full-on
complete site
Yeah.
redevelopment. So
Yeah.
there's only one building that will remain, and even that will look completely different.
Yeah.
But what it does mean is, like even the sound training centre, for those who have been up to it,
Yeah.
and I think our open day is on April 18th of next year.
Yep.
So if you're around, come to it. It might be the last for a while. You'll see our training facilities haven't changed in 40 years.
Yeah.
So we've got one sound training house, so that will change to 3. We'll have a lot more room. The trainers are just about sharing desks at the moment, sitting on each other's laps, so we'll have lots of space for them as well. And for our volunteers, so
Yeah.
we're having specific areas where they can work with dogs as well.
And so when's that starting?
Once I raise the money. So,
Yeah, fair enough.
So we are going through our capital fundraising campaign
Yep.
at the moment, and we're focusing that on corporate donations and philanthropic Australians, so those who support big projects. We're not asking Lions clubs to support that, only because the support of Lions clubs is important in keeping the actual program going.
Yeah.
And I'd
Yeah.
rather see money from Lions clubs go into producing actual dogs.
Yeah.
Because that's what we do. We
Yeah.
send money out to help people,
Yeah.
and that's where it should be going.
Yeah. And so even small things, guys. I don't know. I'm gonna probably speak off Tony a little bit, but I know there are little things that you can do to support the dogs or support the program. They do the old merchandise like calendars and plush toys and that sort of stuff. Is that online that people can see all that sort
That
of
is
stuff?
online on our fantastic website. Wink, wink, Betrayer. So check it out. It's lionshearingdogs.com.au.
Yeah.
And all of our merchandise is there, and it's updated all the time actually.
Yeah.
So you'll see all the news coming out of the centre.
Yep.
And sign up for our newsletter.
Brilliant. And so I guess with the expansion, if you're hoping to be training those extra dogs, is that the opportunity for more employment for more trainers?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I may even retire and go back. But no, I think at capacity I can see us having a training team of probably around 25.
Yeah, cool.
So at the moment we've got 5 trainers.
Yeah.
So it's going to be huge.
Absolutely. Really appreciate the questions so far. I know Patrice sent a lot through, but if you've got any more questions, send them through. David, is there anything else you want to share about the program at all?
No.
So I reckon we've gone through a fair bit of info there. As you can see, a brilliant program. Lions as a whole is hugely proud of having this program as part of our association. Obviously David is more than proud of what they do. It's an amazing service that's provided for those people without hearing or hard of hearing. The dogs do the work for them, like I said, just to pick up the sounds of what is going on in the world. And like I said, we know that guide dogs for the blind is well known, but we want this to be just as well known or more so. So the service that these dogs provide for their owners is absolutely invaluable. Yeah, go for it. And like I say, any support that you guys out there watching today would be appreciated. Like I say, that support can be something as simple as you've seen this video and you can at least spruik on behalf of David and his team as to what the program does and what the dogs do. So when Laura comes out in a couple of weeks' time, as far as I know, she's bringing along one of the training puppies.
Should be Millie. So she was the one who was highlighted on the ABC article.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So she's our demo dog.
Ah,
Not that
yes.
she knows how to do it yet.
She's just ready to be the guinea pig. So she'll bring Millie along next week. It's great we've had as many people that have come along today. David's been awesome. Like I said, David's more than happy to go out to your club. If you're a Lions club watching this video, he's more than happy to come out to your club and do a guest speaking spot. David has been along to conventions. He travels across Australia for Lions Club, spruiking what the program does, so that everyone is more aware. And like I say, from a general public point of view, there's lots of ways that you can support and be a part of the program as well. You don't have to be a lion if you wanted to volunteer with the program, do you? So
No,
you can just
no.
be any old Joe Blow that wants to help out. If you've got a love for dogs and a love for caring and training these beautiful animals, then all you got to do is get in contact with David and his team, and they'll be able to point you in the right direction as to what you can do. So any support is always welcome. So we're going to leave it there. We've got a bit more of our walk to go. We're going to head back to obviously where we started, back at the car park of the North Adelaide Pathway Golf Course. So we've got a bit more to go before I got another couple hundred or 300-400 metres to go. So we'll finish off with that. David, thank you so much for coming along
Anytime.
and speaking about the program. Patria might have a final question here. You and your team do a fantastic job from the Pres of City of Adelaide. Yeah, like I said, thank you so much for coming along. And yeah, like I said, any questions, get in contact with David on that website he provided before. We'll put that website on the comments as well later on for anyone who wants to look at it again. Like I said, we're going to finish off our walk around this way. We've probably got a couple of minutes to go. So I hope you all stay well for the rest of this beautiful day in Adelaide on Sunday. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week. If you want to join us, like I say, me and Matt, or Matt and I, who correct me on that grammar, Matt and I, we're heading out to Morialta Falls. It's been years and years since I've been out there, but he's going to know more about where we're going to go with that part. So we'll get details as to where we're meeting and everything else. So if you want to get out and do something completely different, that one will probably not be a half-an-hour walk, it'll probably be a bit longer. So I'll do a bit of a video then, otherwise we're going to keep on walking and going through whichever trail he takes me through. And like I said, then the following week, we're back here at Torrens, and we'll have Laura from the same Hearing Dogs program talking about the medic alert dogs. I'm just going to read the last part that Patria's put. She's put the website there. Thanks, hun. So
And on Monday we have school back.
yeah, you do. So yeah, everyone out there, I hope you have a good Sunday. Have a great week. We'll see you next week, whether you're watching online or if you want to come out with me and Matt to Morialta. Have a great week. Thank you, David. Thanks to the guys who have been walking behind. We've kept an eye on you. Have a good week, guys. We'll see you later.